Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 277 of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Last week, I kept calling I don't know why. I kept saying last week's episode was episode 275. It was not. It was 276. I know it doesn't matter, but for posterity's sake, this is episode 277. The brothers Maxon here with you. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello.
Hope everybody is enjoying their holiday season as it quickly comes to a close, as I'm sure you're thankful for, as I am, Aaron.
Yes.
To get this shit done. Get it over with.
Yes.
But something else I wanted to get over with was watching this week's Clash of the Champions. We are discussing, I guess it's not all bad, but there's more bad than good. We are discussing Clash of the Champions 29. It is November 16th, 1994, Jacksonville, Florida, at the Jacksonville Memorial Coliseum. That will be our main topic of discussion for this week's show.
Yes. It's a rough show, but we'll get through it.
Yes, we will. As I'm looking here, hold on just a second. I'm just comparing. Okay. Yes. Okay. We're good. Wayback Machine.
Yes. Top two songs, top two movies. Like I said, like we've done for 29 of these going so far. If you want to guess, you can guess. If you want to try to guess the movies, go ahead and try. I don't think you'll get either one of them, but
movies. Shoot. Holiday 94. Okay. I might have my year wrong.
They both suck.
Did the Santa Claus come out in 94? Was it on the top?
It was number 2.
Okay.
For Santa Claus.
You don't like the Santa Claus?
No.
Oh, I do. I think the first one's fun. I don't know. I like it.
I don't like that. I don't like that movie. Not my favorite Tim Allen Christmas movie. My favorite Tim Allen Christmas movie is Christmas with the Cranks.
Christmas with the Cranks that's a fantastic movie.
That's a good fucking movie. But the Santa Claus is dumb. And the number one movie sucks as well because it's one of those boring movies and nothing happens in it. It's Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, I don't like that one. One.
I've never liked anything involving like Dracula or a vampire. Like it's always boring. Vampire shit is boring. But
one vampire thing that you should watch, and I think I've told you to watch it before, and I think you'll like it.
Dracula Dead and Loving It?
That's
Leslie Nielsen's worst movie.
Well, that's still funny, but no, I was gonna say I think I've told you to watch What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series.
Yeah.
It was one of the most surprisingly funny things. Like it became one of my favorite comedy series after watching it. It's surprisingly hilarious.
And I guess the Buffy movie's funny. So I guess like anything that like tries to take itself serious that involves vampires is shit.
And it's vampires by nature are very melodramatic. So yeah, you're right. It's always very slow moving and
boring.
Yes.
And now if you want to guess the songs, you can go for it.
I always guess, and I 90% of the time, for some reason, I'm always wrong, but I always guess there's something by Boyz II Men in the top two.
Yes. It's the number one. It's I'll Make Love to You.
Okay.
By Boyz II Men. And number 2 is Sign by Ace of Base.
Yeah.
They're still hanging out.
It's a good top 2.
Yes.
Like I don't know how a lot of people nowadays feel about Boyz II Men, but I still really enjoy Boyz II Men.
Yeah, they're all right.
Because I think it's because like I like some of their ballads, but I think as far as their more upbeat music, they were an evolution of Belle Biv DeVoe, and I really like Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
Kind of goes hand in hand, you know?
What's wrong with Boys to Men?
I mean, to be honest, folks, back in like whatever year it was, we got nauseatingly sick of End of the Road
Oh, I hate that song.
as they played it over and over and over again. But so now that means that at this show in Jacksonville, Florida,
Hulk Hogan showed up, was like, "You see Santa Claus, brother?" It was funny.
I was just gonna say,
he was like, they tried to cast me, but I said I couldn't do it.
Yeah, couldn't do it, brother.
Angle. They got Tim Allen instead. I was supposed to be the Santa Claus.
That's why he wound up doing Santa with muscles.
That's why I did Santa with muscles, brother.
And Kevin Sullivan and John Tenta and Brutus Beefcake. Oh, not Beefcake. He was driving Hogan. Kevin Sullivan, John Tenta, and Vader drove up listening to "I'll Make Love to You."
I think it's funnier if they showed up playing this like sign. Vader singing, "I saw the sign, opened up my eyes, I saw the sign."
What time is it? It's sign time.
And based off that, like Nate said, we're moving into this next clash. And since the last one we watched, we found out that Brutus Beefcake was in fact the man that attacked Hulk Hogan. And watching it back, I figured out why it made absolutely no sense. And it's kind of like when they decided to just make Rikishi the guy that ran over Steve Austin. Like, they had an idea, but they didn't know the end of it. So they just filled in some shit. Like, they said, oh, the driver had blonde hair, and Rikishi didn't have blonde hair at the time when he got ran over.
Yeah.
This was like Brutus Beefcake did it. Well, immediately I shouldn't say immediately, but Hogan gets attacked, and then Brutus Beefcake is with him, and he's got like red and yellow on. His hair's like perfect. So it took him like 3 minutes to rip off that black leotard outfit and his mask.
WCW, no matter what era, just couldn't pull off the Masked Man storyline properly, could they?
No.
Because we, many clashes back, we went through the Black Scorpion debacle.
But you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you get back into his whole Hulkamania regalia?
Yeah, that shit's tight. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he got his hair back out and bouffanted up or whatever, fluffed back out. Yeah, really? That happened?
Well, now, in his defense on that, he is a known hairdresser. So
yeah.
What he pulled out that hairspray and was like, "What do that could to a normal hairdo?"
Do a normal hairdo. But apparently he pulled it off.
I just watched the insane, just like 2 nights ago. Actually, I just watched the insane barbershop with Sid.
Oh, when he smashes the things and
the fucking shaving cream explodes all over his face. It makes it even better. That's the thing about Sid, is his fucking up is what makes him great.
Yeah, like there's no way you could have planned that.
No.
And it's like they had real like shaving cream, and it's like it blew up right on his face. And either he was too dumb to know or was smart enough to know, I'm just gonna leave this shit on my face.
Yeah. I curse you, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. So like I said, we found out Beefcake was the guy with the pipe that took out Hulk Hogan's right knee, and then also Earthquake's here now. Some shit's developed since last we spoke.
Not a lot of it good, but yes, we have, like my notes say, we have moved past. We have moved past Halloween Havoc, which means we have moved past Hogan and Flair. They have They have summarily embarrassed Flair,
Yes.
made him look like a chump, and they're going to continue to do that for another couple of years. But yeah, we're into the Hulk Hogan 3 Faces of Fear Butcher storyline.
The worst WCW.
Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan introduce the show, run down the card that we're going to have tonight. They send to Mean Gene. He plugs the hotline, of course. And we show that Mike Tenay and Chris Cruz are in the back talking with the Butcher.
And it's funny because, like, you talked about, like, we usually try to watch something and keep it fresh in our minds. And we had to kind of, like, power watch these clashes. So apparently they must have had a crazy microphone because my note says Mike Tenay is interviewing the Butcher with what looks like a butt plug. So apparently they had a crazy microphone.
I don't even
remember that or not.
I'm here with the Butcher and his butt plug.
And his butt plug.
And this butt plug over here, Chris Cruz.
Yeah, fucking piece of shit.
And then we go back to Mean Gene, who is standing by with
Colonel Robert Parker.
Colonel Robert Parker. Was he in the back, or did he bring him out? I just put Gene interviewing Robert Parker and Meng.
Yeah, Gene interviewed Robert Parker in the back, and he said that his tag team of Bunkhouse Buck and Arn Anderson are challenging whoever wins this next WCW tag team championship match.
In said tag team championship match, it's tag titles, the tag titles versus the Mask. As Pretty Wonderful faces the Patriot and Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Stars and Stripes.
Yes. We could find out if the Mask is taken off that the Patriot's actually Pez Watley. We don't know.
Oh my God. The Patriot is T-Joe Khan.
Yeah.
Paul Jones is back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, here comes Jamie.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Talk about the boy from New York City.
Bobby Heenan thinks it's Al Gore. He mentions that a couple
I didn't catch that he said that.
Yeah. He thinks the Patriots Al Gore.
Well, I did actually like this match. I enjoyed this match. Everybody in it is somebody that I'm a fan of. Like I've always said, Paul Wonderful is Paul Orndorff. Paul Wonderful. Paul Orndorff's one of my favorites ever. Paul Roma is a solid tag team wrestler. I'm a fan of the Patriot, and I am a fan of this Marcus Bagwell. So I enjoyed this match.
Oh, I did. I didn't like the finish. The finish was kind of lame. But other than that, I thought it was a good match, and I should say, like, this is probably the most entertained. Like his team with like Too Cold and being with Del Welps. That's about the extent of.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Fandom. And then obviously, I think Pretty Wonderful was a cool team, and I thought they were both kind of a kick-ass team.
And they have kick-ass music.
Yeah.
And
I enjoyed it.
The Assassin wasn't with them on this show, was he?
I didn't write him down. So I'm assuming no.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'm a fan of Pretty Wonderful. Everything about it. They're two great wrestlers. They actually had really good chemistry as a team together. Actually, I don't think Paul Roma, any tag team he was ever in, had bad chemistry. He had bad chemistry being a Horseman. Like
Yeah.
he didn't fit being a horseman, but him and Anderson were a good tag team. And
Yeah.
and he was, I mean, he was a good tag team with Jim Powers. Hell, he was a good tag team with Special Delivery Jones on the old MSG shows. Paul Roma's as I watch a lot of older stuff, I realize Paul Roma was a pretty badass tag team wrestler.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, good.
I was just gonna say, I know I bring it up a lot lately, but it's because as I've been watching a lot, just watching him a little more intently lately, it's like, wow, the guy really was a pretty fucking good professional wrestler.
And every once in a while, there's one or two guys that like you'll tell me about, or I'll tell you about. It takes a while, but then you're like, okay, I get it. And Paul Rum was one of them because if you go back to years back on this episode, you're like, fuck Paul Roma. And I'm like, man, don't sleep on Paul Roma.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
become a fan of
You're
Paul
like,
Roma as a tag team wrestler, definitely.
and you're like, Ronnie Garvin. I'm like, I don't know, man. You gotta watch you some Ronnie Garvin. And a
Now,
couple years ago, I got you to be like, I kind of like Ronnie Garvin a little bit.
now I still stand by the fact that I hate JCP trucker hat Ronnie Garvin, but I like ICW Ronnie Garvin.
I'm just saying.
And he is, well, no, he's not. Okay, the NWA, he is the worst choice ever to be the NWA World Champion. I was gonna, you get, if you're taking the lineage all the way, it's not the same as like fucking Russo or whatever. But anyway, that was the WCW Championship. But yeah, like Aaron said, I kind of agree. The finish, I don't know if it was a clusterfuck and things got. I don't know if it was intended to go down the way it did, but the finish is a little wonky.
Yeah, but all in all, not a bad opener.
So we have new tag team champions, Marcus Bagwell and the Patriot. Of course, next we get an ad for the Hulk Hogan hotline, because why not? You can call for, as we mentioned last week, that ever elusive Hulk Hogan message, whatever that may be, for $1.49 a minute.
Say your prayers, get your vitamins.
And then the next match is for the World Television Championship. I think if I remember correctly, these guys had went to a time limit draw at Halloween Havoc. It is the Honky Tonk Man challenging Johnny B. Bad for the TV title. And this is the notes that I had. I said I had wrote it down for this, but we discussed it last week. Just to me, Honky Tonk Man just does not fit World Championship Wrestling.
No, he doesn't. And I don't have a lot of notes on it either. Just the match itself sucked.
It did. Actually, it's funny. I wrote down during this match, Johnny B. Bad is really over with the crowd, but the match stinks.
Oh, the match sucked. But a few of my notes are during the match, as it goes on, Honky Tonk Man starts to get like a Cupid baby hair thing going. Like he looks like a Cupid baby. And if people don't know what the Cupid baby is, it's a regional thing around here. And I don't know why it took me until 2025 to think about this. And I can't believe nobody else in that locker room thought about it. Like, I can't believe nobody on creative put this together. And you know what it is?
What's that?
Why the fuck was the Honky Tonk Man not managed by Colonel Robert Parker?
You know what? I never thought about it either.
A Honky Tonk Man is an Elvis impersonator who doesn't think or know that he's impersonating Elvis. And Colonel Robert Parker was a parody of Colonel Tom Parker.
Yeah.
Why weren't they together?
Why weren't they together? Yeah, no shit. I never thought about it. Probably, I guess I never thought about it because Honky's run is just so short. You don't really even think about Honky's run. But yeah, now that you mention it, why the fuck didn't they do that?
It might have made it work.
Maybe. And he wouldn't have had to maybe he could have even like blended in with Slater and Buck, and as Parker likes to say, Buck and them.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, why didn't they fucking put those guys together? And like I said, this was 1994, and I didn't even think about it till I watched the show and I saw Parker with those guys, and then Honky came out, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why did nobody put two and two together?
One thing I did write down that Bobby said during this match, he asked Shivani if he'd ever been to Honky Tonk Man's house, and Shivani said, of course not. And Bobby said, well, it's a nice place, but Honky Tonk Man has shag carpet. He's even got shag carpet all over the walls. But yeah, like I said, the match is garbage. It's not good at all. Again, Johnny B. Bad's over with this crowd during the match, but the ref goes down. Of course, the obligatory hardcore shot or guitar shot for the disqualification when the ref gets up and catches the Honky Tonk Man doing said guitar shot. And we go to the disqualification. Johnny B. Bad retains the title. Nothing really to write home about. The most interesting thing about this match was Aaron's theory about why they didn't pair the Honky Tonk Man with Colonel Robert Parker.
Yeah, it bugged me. After I thought about it, I'm like, God damn. Then we get the Faces of Fear cut a promo inside what I said looked like a 1980s music video hue. It's like the vibe of it was like weird. But in case you guys don't know, the three faces of Fear: Earthquake, Kevin Sullivan, and Butch the Barber No Name.
My
shitty gimmick.
My note about
Butch
this
the Barber No Game.
My note about this interview or this promo, I guess it really wasn't an interview. I don't think they were being interviewed. They were just standing there talking.
No, it was a promo.
It's Brutus Beefcake, obviously the Butcher, the Avalanche, obviously John Tenta and Kevin Sullivan. And I wrote down the most fantastic thing about this whole thing is that Brutus is supposedly the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
Not Sullivan. Brutus Beefcake is supposedly the brains of the operation here.
Yeah. This fucking mongoloid.
Oh, man. So, up next we have I love fun mistakes in pro wrestling.
Yes.
The next match is the Harlem Heat versus the Nasty Boys.
The street fight.
The street fight. One of the stories of the match, other than being a street fight and their rivalry, obviously, is that Harlem Heat have a new manager. We don't know who that mystery manager is. That mystery manager is on the phone, though. They have a phone. They're able to communicate with the mystery manager. But here's the fun part, folks.
I do know who it is.
When Harlem Heat comes to the ring, the Krylon says Harlem Heat with Sensational Sherry.
Yes. But we don't know who it is.
We don't know who the WCW everybody, as Chris Zellner would say.
Yes. So was what it was.
I like Happy X, and it's like when fucking Eric Watts comes out and instead it says Steven
Regal.
Yeah.
Steven Regal was like, excuse me.
But anyway, be more opposite.
Yeah. But it does. I mean, it cheeses it or botches it, whatever you want to call it, for the people watching at home. But it's still people in the arena didn't see it, so she still gets a little bit of pop later on.
And it's the birth of one of the great tag team acts of all time, Sister Sherry with Harlem Heat.
Yes. And then, like she said with her story, it's like, oh, we're gonna put you with Ron Simmons. And then the OJ thing happened. Like, we don't know if we could put a white lady with a big black guy. So instead, we're gonna put a white lady with two big black guys. Because that makes sense. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I just had a question for you. But you can finish your thought if you want.
Well, mine was a question for you, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, my question for you and for anybody listening, the listeners out there, if you ever want to give us any feedback, of course, we can't wrestle at gmail.com or comment on our YouTube videos. But anyway, my question for you is the Nasty Boys. As far as 90s tag teams go, I think that they don't get enough credit for as good as they were when they wanted to be good. I think they get a bit overlooked. Do you agree?
Yes. And it's funny because guess what my question was?
It was about whether the Nasty Boys are good.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll write a guy or a team's name down, and then I'll just put this thing in like brackets. Like if I'm gonna ask you or Chad, the Nasty Boys, Hall of Fame? Question mark. Like I think the Nasty Boys deserve to go in at least into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the WWE Hall of Fame. Absolutely. They held championships in the two biggest wrestling promotions during the time they wrestled. They were an integral part of the tag team divisions in the two biggest professional wrestling companies when they wrestled.
And when they were healthy, they could hang with the teams that needed them to hang with them. I mean, they hung with like the Rockers, they hung with the Hearts, they hung with the Steiners, they hung with the Heat. Like until a
little bit after this.
No, I think sometimes, honestly, the Nasty Boys get a bad rap more for not even their tag team run. I think they get a bad rap sometimes more for Knobs as singles, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
People remember Knobs as a singles. And it's like fucking Jerry Sags is a fucking worker, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had that shit happen with him and Scott was in a spot where it's like you can't, you're not gonna be able to have the company side with Jerry Sags over Scott Hall. And Jerry Sags basically was like, fuck this guy,
Yeah.
But I don't think they get talked about enough as being as good as they were when they were on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I absolutely. Yeah, that's why I was asking, because I don't think that they get talked about enough. I think that I don't know if they've just kind of gotten lost to time and nobody thinks about them. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I think that watching them in the 90s, the mid to early the early to mid 90s, like you said, the Steiner Brothers match from Halloween Havoc 90 is one of my favorite tag team matches of all time.
Yeah, I used to watch that match so much on fucking VHS. Like I had like the VHS of that. It's like that was the fucking match of that show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, they're working with like the Hearts, and yeah, I think they're under talked about. I think if that makes sense.
I totally agree.
And I hope they get their flowers before Knobs is no longer with us, because every couple of years you hear about him having some issues.
Yeah.
I hope those guys get their credit before Knobs ain't around anymore.
And back to this match again. Other than the little flub at the beginning with them accidentally revealing the big reveal about Sherry, the match is good. And like Aaron said, the fans in the arena, it was a surprise to them when Sherry came out, so the crowd reacted the way that they should react.
Yeah. So Other than the botch, it was all right.
Ba, 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 ba.
The next thing
Yeah,
is my favorite thing.
in the end, me too. In the end of the match, Sherry comes down, distracts. I think it was Knobs, or no, yeah, distracts Knobs from interfering with a pinfall on Sags, and Sags gets pinned, and Harlem Heat wins, and Sherry is now with Harlem Heat. Like Aaron's kind of alluding to, I think the match started off good, and the fucking wheels fell off the wagon as it progressed.
Yeah, it was okay.
The next match is good shit, pal.
Yes. It's not for a belt or anything. It's just Vader with Harley Race in his corner, which we've talked about before, which is one of the best um, combinations of a wrestler and a manager is Vader and Harley Race.
Mm-hmm.
And they are facing Dustin Rhodes. And these two guys work phenomenal together. Vader starts the match being a bully, and he slaps and spits on Dustin. And Vader continues these actions until Dustin finally has enough and snaps himself and ends up opening up on Vader. And Vader's bumping around and kind of cowering for Dustin because his character's surprised that Dustin was able to do it to him. And I don't know how I want to say this, but it's funny because Dustin is a big dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's obviously he doesn't weigh as much as Vader, but he's got the same height as Vader.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they do a really good job at the beginning of the match with Vader being the bully, where Dustin's almost looking like he's smaller than him, and then when he's finally had enough, now he's swelled up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it totally does.
And I don't want to overtake too much of talking about the match from you, but Dustin ends up, like I said, he ends up snapping back and knocking down Vader, and Vader cowers away a little bit, and just enough to look vulnerable, but not enough to look like a puss, you know. And Dustin ends up taking out Harley Race, but Vader keeps coming at him, and watching all this shit and looking back on it, you know what's funny about Vader and Race's
Tandem.
like relationship
What's that?
is Harley in Vader's matches will bump multiple times and get taken out. And every time it happens, Vader never checks on him.
Because he knows his boss is a badass anyway.
And he doesn't give a shit. He's like, he's out. Whatever.
He'll be all right. He's Harley Race.
Yeah.
He'll be okay.
And Harley Race's character will be like, why the fuck are you worried about me? Win the belt. But like Vader just never gives a shit. Like,
but
he never checks on him.
You're right about them being one of the most natural, perfect manager wrestler combinations. And this one got me. That actually, you saying that got me off the beaten path. We'll get in the weeds a tad bit here because I mean, shit, we're coming close to the end of this show, and we're only about a half hour, so we'll probably be under an hour on this show, folks.
This show sucked. So
but a question that I actually was thinking about the other night while I was watching some old stuff. Not counting. I'm not talking about AWA or anything like that. I'm not talking about Bockwinkel. I'm not talking about the Blackjacks. I'm talking about purely WWF. For all the iconic people that he managed throughout the years, Andre, Haku, Rick Rude, Paul Orndorff, whoever, is it me or was the best combo Bobby Heenan ever had being with Mr. Perfect? Like, weren't they just perfect? Would you say that? It's just, I don't know. I was just thinking, because I was like, Bockwinkel and Heenan, that's the AW. I was like, I want to disqualify the AWA. I'm just talking WWF. My favorite pairing for Heenan, again, with all the iconic people that he managed, was perfect. Bobby Heenan and Mr. Perfect just fit so well together.
Two would be right up, like those two together would be right up there when it comes to those two.
I mean, I'd put him and Andre second behind, but
I'd kind of flip it.
Andre Heenan and then
yeah. I don't know why, but maybe because he didn't really even manage Kurt that. I'm not even longevity doesn't mean anything.
right.
He didn't even manage Kurt that long. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he managed him from
probably
right after
for what, a year.
Honestly, yeah, maybe, because he shit can, or doesn't shit can, but they do the transition from Genius to Bobby, I think, right around the time that he wins the Intercontinental title. Because Genius is still with him at WrestleMania 6. But by SummerSlam that year, Heenan's with him. So in that time frame, and then Heenan turns him over to the coach, John Tolis, right before SummerSlam 91. So yeah, right about a year. I wasn't trying to get in the weeds with this. It was something I was thinking about the other day.
I get it. And then it doesn't. I don't want to say like it doesn't. The guy doesn't matter, because he does, because he's one of my favorites. But I'd say Bob with like Andre. To me, Andre and Bobby's it.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's one of my favorite fucking angles of all time.
Right.
Like, that was like Hogan didn't care. Like, okay, you want the shot and you beat me up, that's fine. But you went with him. That's one of the greatest things. And then, like you said, with Kurt, and then I liked Bobby with Haku.
Yeah,
like,
and Haku was like a constant for a long time. Like, as people came and went out of the Heenan family, Haku stuck in there, man. He was always a Heenan guy to the bitter end. Yeah, you're right.
We're gonna fuck with this dog together, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. I'm gonna make you the king.
They have
Haku was his most loyal. He's his most loyal soldier. Bobby's most loyal guy, man. But yeah, I don't know how, like you said, I don't know how he got into that.
No, that was my fault. That was my fault.
It's okay. And Harley managed a lot of guys in WCW. Like, like watching these clashes, you don't think about it watching it or thinking back on it. You're like, Harley was a manager from like 91 to like 95 in WCW.
He managed those goddamn awesome Kongs.
Yeah, he managed a lot of people. He managed
Hercules with a panty on his head.
Yeah, Super Panty Invader. He managed the Big Cat. He managed a lot of people. Mr. Hughes, Big Cat, Mr. Hughes, same person.
Lex Luger.
You know what I mean? Lex Luger. Yeah, he managed a lot of people. Hey, I don't know. I just sounded dumb right there saying it. And we were talking about Peacock going away, Well, I was bored, so I started, and I'm not going to be able to finish it out. But I was watching Superstars 95, okay? Like, just the 1995 year Superstars. And I'm sure you've watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I think they were going to do? Because there's a couple points where Diesel is getting in some trouble with some, like, heels and shit. And there's like 2 or 3 weeks in a row where Luger comes out to help him, and like two of the times Diesel's character accidentally hits Lex Luger, but Lex Luger's like like it's like almost like an afterthought, but
Mm-hmm.
like Luger's character's kind of like in the background, like he just got nailed. But then he's like, "Oh, it's cool, man." He's like patting him on the back and shit.
Do you
I
think they
think
were?
before, I think before he left, they were gonna fucking turn him heel.
Do you think they were going to turn him instead of Davey?
Yes.
I would have been all about it because I've said for years and years and years he never even should have been a face in the WWF.
Yeah. But there's two incidents where that happens, and it's like right before he fucking leaves. Like, man, I think they were thinking about fucking turning left. And then he
You know
fucking quit.
because by then Raw was the primary show. Do you know what actually is my favorite thing about Superstars 1995?
Skip and Sonny?
No, it's the most that I can watch the Waylon Mercy character. There's
Yeah.
a lot. There's a lot of Waylon. The short run that Spivey had as Waylon Mercy in the WWF. The majority of whatever he did took place on Superstars, not Raw. So yeah, it's a silly
Yeah.
thing, but for me, it's a personal thing. Like, you know what? 95 Superstars. At least I got some Waylon Mercy.
Yeah.
Now that we've talked about Bobby Heenan's
Everything but this
family,
match.
yeah, Bobby Heenan's family, 1995 WWF Superstars. This match again is fantastic. Dustin's DDT off the top rope, or the second rope. I'm sorry. Vader
Yeah.
kicks out of that. Dustin gets the bulldog, and then, excuse me, Harley Race for the distraction on Dustin before he can get the win, and Vader gets a wheelbarrow slam for the 3 count. And picks up the win over Dustin in a very good match and the best thing on this show.
Absolutely.
Again, I like the Nasties and Harlem Heat. And then this was really good too.
Yeah.
After the match, here comes old Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Because all the old WCW guys have to either get saved by or pay homage to all the new Hogan people that have come in.
Yeah, and if there is one guy that is worse than WCW Hulk Hogan. Like remember last week when we were talking about like WCW Hulk Hogan lost any edge that WWF Hulk Hogan had. Like WCW Hulk Hogan was just always the Hulk Hogan the WWF had to send to like the Nafties or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one guy that's worse, it's Jim Duggan.
Yeah, and I am a Jim Duggan fan, but I agree with you. When you get to 1994, 95, Jim Duggan in WCW, it's just bad. And again, I'm a fan of the guy. I like Jim Duggan, and I actually, in any interaction I've had with him personally, he's a fantastic human being.
Because
I've met it.
anything against that.
Yeah.
I've
met him at conventions, and then when we were doing those virtual autograph signing things at the asylum during COVID,
yeah,
and I was helping out with those and producing the podcast version of them and stuff. I got to actually have some like personal interaction with Duggan, and he's a great guy. And again, I really like him. Mid-South, I like him in the WWF. But you're right, WCW Duggan is not good.
No, it's the hokiest, corniest bullshit. It's just bad.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
Sorry, I had to mute for a minute.
No, that's okay. Then there's Mean Gene. Mean Gene does an interview with Hulk Hogan, Sting, and Evad, the opponents of the Three Faces of Fear in our main event.
God damn it. This is like, when I say this, it's like, because I know you don't like it, and I understand it, but like, this WCW is worse than WCW 1999. It's worse.
No. I'm not going to dispute that. No. WCW 99 has much more. What do I want to say? WCW 99 is weird because it's not. It's not even necessarily bad. It's just very disjointed because they go through fucking like 4 different versions of WCW in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of all the changes at the top, and there's politics and all this shit's going on. And then Bischoff winds up getting fired. And then once Bischoff gets fired, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And then Russo comes in and blah, blah, blah. So it is rough. But no, this is worse because at least that rough was entertaining. It's hard to find good entertainment in this year and a half, 2 years of WCW.
Yeah. It's just garbage.
But yeah, we get the interview with Hogan's team. They're going to be facing the Three Faces of Fear later on tonight. Sting is literally like, well, at least I'm in the big money match.
Yeah. At least I'm not retarded, right, Evad?
And then the next thing we have isn't even really a match because for some reason they just, through the entire time that they interact with each other, they just can't bring themselves to and it's probably because he would have outshined him 100,000%. They just can't they can't bring themselves to have an actual Jim Duggan, Steve Austin match.
Actually, thinking back on it, I think I figured out why they did it this way, but they shouldn't have even just did it this way.
Do you think it's the opposite of what I'm saying?
No.
Okay.
Think about the timeline when he gets fired. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And why he got fired. Because he was hurt.
Okay.
I think they were doing this because Steve was hurt and couldn't work. And I could be wrong, but he couldn't work a long match because he was hurt. But they were just using him to
Put
whatever with. Yeah. But they should have just fucking sent him home and let him heal up. I don't know. I could be wrong. But
I'd have to look on the time frame of when the actual injury was, because to be honest with you, right now I'm kind of foggy on it. I'll look it up. Maybe we can revisit it next week.
Yeah, because he joins.
Maybe
WWF
you are right.
and
Maybe you are right.
He joins WWF in '95.
In December, he joins WWF in December of '95.
This is November '94.
Yes, and he's still got to do the ECW run.
And he was hurt then.
Timing's very close.
When he first came in.
Mm-hmm.
And they told him that you've extended your injury for our contract so we can just release you. And I think that's literally what it was. I think he was just hurt and they were trying to do this shit to see if he was going to get better.
There's a heavy possibility you're correct about that. But yeah, this is
wrong way to do it.
This is supposed to be a match with Jim Duggan, the United States champion, defending against stunning Steve Austin. But Vader comes out and attacks Jim Duggan very shortly into the match for a disqualification. So, like I said, it's not even really a match; it's more a segment to get over the fact that we're going toward Vader and Duggan over Austin and Duggan.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Then we head into our main event. Michael Buffer is doing the introductions, and he introduces our special referee, Mr. T.
Who's dressed in black and white Scrooge pajamas?
Complete with the hat.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, why is he dressed like Mr. Scrooge?
I don't know why I wrote this down. I don't know what he said. Like maybe he was reserving his criticism or whatever because it was Mr. T. But I don't remember what because my note here says Bobby Heenan really wants to make fun of Mr. T's outfit. So yeah. I don't know if he made like maybe he made a little remark but didn't go all the way. Like maybe he didn't go all the way. I don't know why I wrote that down, but
I don't remember either. But like I said, I put it's like Mr. T's wearing Mr. Scrooge PJs. Stupid Dave is taken out early, so we don't have to worry about him being in the match slowing these guys down. And then I wrote Kevin Sullivan's name and did the same thing I did with the Nasty Boys. It was Kevin Sullivan, bracket, WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Think he should be in it?
Yes. Yes. He was, for his time, when you think about the Florida stuff, and I know WWE wouldn't, Triple H might. When you think about the Florida stuff, the satanic cult thing that he did was revolutionary at the time. It was different. It was super different than anything anybody else was even halfway willing to do. Hell, it made Mark Lewin interesting. Then as far as WCW goes, as time moves on, he's an interesting character, and then he became I mean, if you think about the late 80s, 90s, almost into the early 2000s, he's a very influential backstage personality, like a booker or I don't know. I think Sullivan had a Hall of Fame career.
I don't think he was on the same level as the guy I'm going to bring up, but I think he was WCW's version of it. Do you know what I think Kevin Sullivan? I think Kevin Sullivan is WCW's Pat Patterson.
I knew what you were going to say as soon as you started. And you're not wrong. Like you said, not as great as Pat, but as far as being an influential backstage person for we're talking WCW, folks, not the NWA, but once it becomes WCW for
an exorbitant amount of time.
Probably at least 95% of the entire company's run. He's an influential person back in the locker room. And this is just a small amount of time, but he was the guy that was able to convince Hulk Hogan to turn heel, if you believe the stories.
Yeah.
I mean, that's influence right there. And that's why he's admitted it. Why did I do the Dungeon of Doom and all that stupid shit? To make Hogan happy, because he was our top guy and I had to keep him happy. I did what I had to do to keep the top guy happy. Whether I thought it was fucking stupid or not, I came up with what I could to make the top guy happy, because we're all here to make fucking money.
Like I said, I think he's WCW's Pat Patterson.
And yes, I totally think he's a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Is he the WWE Hall of Fame?
He's not. That's why I asked it. Every time before I ask that question, I make sure somebody didn't get like flung into one of them legacy things.
Yeah, so that's what I say. Sometimes I forget if somebody's in there through that stupid bullshit.
Because I started watching some of these Smoky Mountains that we're gonna do, and I thought about asking about Ivan, but I'm like, man, and I didn't agree. After I looked it up, I'm like, well, I still don't agree with it. They slammed Ivan Koloff in as a fucking legacy. Oh, look at his picture. Like that guy should have had his own fucking thing.
Yeah.
Especially
anybody who ever won your world championship.
Yeah.
Like Stan Stasiak, if he's not, should be a WWE Hall of Famer.
He is. He's in there.
Okay.
Legacy wise, but he's in there.
Is he from Buzzards Creek? Buzzards Creek. That's a great hometown. I like a cool hometown.
Yeah. Mudlick, Kentucky.
Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Buzzards Creek. What is it? Buzzards Creek, Oregon?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a cool ass name. Anyway.
And it said Kevin Sullivan, Hall of Fame, ? And then says Hulk Hogan is the Adam Sandler of professional wrestling. And I'm like, why did I write that down? And I figured out why. Do you know why?
Because he's like two different guys?
No, because every movie Adam Sandler makes now is like terrible, but he still has his friends in it.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like Adam Sandler makes shitty movies, but Rob Schneider's right there. And like Rob Schneider's Brutus Beefcake, you know? And fucking Jimmy Hart's Kevin James.
Instead of you can do it, he's like, what do that could?
That could. Yeah. Fucking Jimmy Hart's Kevin James. Yeah,
Hip-hop
that's
anonymous.
what he did. Yeah.
Shit.
I couldn't remember why. I'm like, that's why. Because Hogan always casts his friend.
Yeah, my theory is the real Adam Sandler was abducted by aliens in the early 2000s. Because there's 50 first dates, and then after that, it's all fucking garbage.
He got abducted by Netflix. That's what happened.
I love 50 First Dates back. Those Adam Sandler movies are fantastic. After 50 First Dates, completely different dude.
And that guy can still be funny.
However, excuse me, stutter. Have you watched the Mark Twain Award thing for Conan O'Brien?
Some of it.
The Sandler segment on there is fantastic.
Oh, he can still be funny. But like that shit I showed you where that guy stood up and he was like, oh my God. Like, you're a creature or whatever. Like, he's still a funny dude, but he just makes shitty movies. I'm not even gonna give him 50 First Dates. I'm like fucking anything after Big Daddy. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I like 50 First Dates, but I like Drew Barrymore too. I like him and Drew Barrymore together, and I really like Drew Barrymore. But I don't think it's a funny movie. Yeah. But and then the Mark Twain Award, they bring up the I'm sorry, back in the weeds, folks. This is between me and Aaron, actually. But they bring up the greatest Walker segment, the Haley Joel Osment. Walker told me I have AIDS.
Walker told me I have AIDS. It's okay. Walker told me I had AIDS.
It's okay. Walker told me I have AIDS.
Yeah. Walker Texas Ranger lever is one of the greatest things ever been thought of.
Hell yes, it is.
Fucking fantastic. This show might.
Well, I mean,
there's times that I want to say that my favorite. I don't want to say it. It's almost like wrestling, where it's like, because somebody asked me today, because somebody brought, like, they were like, oh, Aaron's a wrestling fan, and some guy that was like, you know, a novice wrestling fan or whatever, like, who's your favorite wrestler? I'm like, well, that's a loaded question,
right?
You know, because that's like my favorite. I told him, like, personally, my favorite all around wrestler is Bret Hart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Bret would be an 8 at everything, like 8 promo, 8 in ring, 8.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 8 look. You know. But then you got somebody like Terry Funk, and I said Terry Funk, and he was like, "Who?" You know, and I wanted to be like, "You don't know who Terry Funk is?"
Right.
I'm like, I was like, "This guy's 27 years old, so I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
say anything." So when we started talking about the Conan O'Brien, like to me, it's like I think
I think you and I are in the same boat. What you're about to say.
he's the best late night show. Dave's like Bruno Sammartino, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. You know, like don't even bring him up. It's like I have and then there's Conan, but like sometimes it's Craig Ferguson, Bret Hart. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is he everything?
See, okay, so you didn't say what I was going to say because I think it's funny because it actually surprises me because we both have good senses of humor, but we have different senses of humor in a way.
Yeah,
But it's funny because I think our favorite late night guys are all the same guys because my favorite late night guys are Conan, Letterman, and Ferguson.
yeah,
And but I think we might have them in a different order because like I have the debate for me is Conan the Bret Hart of late night. Like fucking Letterman's the giant. And then
yeah.
Conan and Ferguson are like
I think Conan's Shawn Michaels. Like he's the flashier one
Mhm.
and more aesthetically pleasing and happy-go-lucky. But like when you get to the meat and potatoes of it, of like just fucking the real deal, I think it's fucking Ferguson, man. Ferguson's Bret Hart, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight with you about it because like I said, I think like I said, we both love it sounds like we have the same top three.
Ferguson's the workhorse, I think.
What were
And
we
then
talking?
Leno's Flair.
And I'm not, you know what? Honestly, I'm not a big Leno guy. I'm not a big Leno stand-up guy. I'm not a big Leno late night guy. He's fine. I'm not saying he sucks. He did a show better than I could have done. And I'm not saying he's not funny, but I don't like Leno's
Maybe Leno,
show.
maybe Leno's Hogan and Dave's Flair, because Leno will fuck you over
Leno,
and not give a shit about it.
the reason I know that Ferguson, O'Brien, and Letterman are my favorites is because they're the only late night people whose segments and stuff I will go back and watch. Other than I will watch Jimmy Fallon's Wheel of Impressions or Wheel of Musical Impressions.
Yeah.
But Letterman, Conan, and Ferguson are the only ones that Letterman, Conan, and Ferguson are the only ones that I will literally just I want to watch some Conan tonight, or I want to watch some Letterman. I'm not going to go watch
Yeah.
Jay Leno. I'm not even going to go. I won't say I don't go back and watch Carson, but I don't go back and watch Carson because of Carson. I go back and watch Carson because I want to watch Dangerfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Carson's Bruno Sammartino.
I'll tell you.
He's good with the people that he worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they all have big hair.
Yeah. Smoke cigars. I don't know how we got here, but
I don't either. Sabasimba. Because we have a match that has nothing really to talk about. It's Sullivan, Butcher, Avalanche against Hogan, Sting, and Dave Sullivan in a 6-man
yeah.
match with Mr. T as the referee. That's what you need to know, folks. It stunk.
Yeah, and then Sully tries to hit Hogan with the megaphone, but T stops him. And then Hogan ends up hitting the big boot on Sully and pins him. And then Hogan, Sting, and Stupid Dave win. And I don't notice. I don't know if you noticed after this because they're building up to Starrcade, and Kevin Sullivan is going to have one of the worst debacles that ever happened. Kevin Sullivan has an actual match with Mr. T.
Yes, he
I don't know if
does.
you remember this, but it is, as Barkley would say, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. But this is building up to it, and at this moment, Kevin Sullivan cracks the shit out of Mr. T with that megaphone. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah.
He fucking nails him with it. Like hard. And I'm sure afterwards he's like, sorry, but but he took some liberties with fucking Mr. T. And it's so funny because every time I see Mr. T, and I don't know why didn't think about mentioning it when we started talking about him before we got lost in the weeds on some other shit. Every time I see Mr. T on something, for some reason I think he's dead.
And
Not
he's
when
not.
I see him on it, but I'm like, Mr. T's dead. And then I look up to see what he died of, and I'm like, Mr. T's still alive. Every time, like to me, like he should be dead. Not saying, oh, I want Mr. T to die, but in
Right.
my brain, it's kind of like when people think Nelson Mandela died in prison. Like he didn't die in prison; he got released. Yeah.
Oh, it happens to the best of us because you know who I always think is alive still? Tom Petty.
Tom
I always
Petty.
forget Tom Petty's
I
dead.
just said Tom Petty. I just said it with you. I literally said Tom Petty.
I'll be like listening to Tom Petty, be like, "What hasn't Tom Petty brought anything out in a while?" Oh, he's fucking dead.
He's dead. I think it's so funny because if you go back and listen to this show, because I know you edit and do recordings and shit, we literally say Tom Petty at the same time. I forget he's dead. Do you like Pete Holmes? Because I like Pete Holmes. I think he's a great comedian. He's got a bit about Tom Petty, but it's about like people not needing to learn things anymore because they can just Google it.
Right.
You know? And he's like, back when we were younger, we had to just not know things. And he's like, so I like what like you just had to not know things because you couldn't just instantly think it, like look it up. He goes, so like in 1995, I'd be laying in bed and I'd wonder, where's Tom Petty from? And then I just didn't know. Like it's like I'm just never I don't know the answer. He's like, where's Tom Petty from? And he says it better like in the joke, but I just think it's funny that we both said Tom Petty at the same time.
In 1995, do you know where I would have thought Tom Petty was from since I couldn't look it up?
California.
Indiana.
He's not.
An Indiana girl on an Indiana night.
Yeah, that's not where he's from.
I know, but I would have just word associated.
I would have thought Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
I would have thought he was from California, and he's not.
Where the fuck was Tom Petty from?
He was from Gainesville, Florida.
Nowhere near any of the places we guessed.
Yeah. He did die in Santa Monica, California, though, in 2017.
God damn.
October 2nd, 2017.
8 years later, we've still got him still alive. We love you, Tom.
Yes.
Well, this Clash of the Champions stunk. Other than
there horrible. It was fucking horrible.
Vader and Dustin was great, and the Nasties and Book and Harlem Heat was decent, but this was a bad show.
That was bad.
And that's why we talked about a lot of things that weren't this show, because when there's a bad it's funny, folks that don't do podcasts.
There's good bad and there's bad bad.
Yes, there is great, there is good. There is good bad. Good bad is like Herb Abrams shit.
or PN News
You can
facing
get
off
some.
in a
Yeah, you can get a good.
fucking ladder match or scaffold match
Yeah,
with Steve Austin. That's good bad or bad whatever. Bad good.
and this is just bad. Like it's zero sum is what It's a zero sum game. Like I don't know. Again, not to discredit those two matches that I actually liked watching, but the majority of this show is shit that I'd rather forget.
And I did forget. Like I didn't remember any of the show until I watched it. It was garbage. So step
And
forward, step back. This was a
step in
in
the
dog
dog
shit.
turd.
Yeah.
We said the same thing again, pretty much. Step in the dog turd. This show. Next week we'll be doing Clash 30. The 30th Clash of the Champions.
It's
Heading
a
into
little better.
Heading into 1995. I think the next one, by the next time we got Randy Savage in WCW by the next time we have a clash.
Yeah, it's the first clash after Starrcade.
Although I'm like beefcake here. What do that could? Although I do have notes about how in his early WCW career, they asked Randy Savage, or maybe not Randy Savage, but they decided how should Randy Savage dress? And their decision was, what if Hulk Hogan was a cowboy?
Yeah. A terrible, terrible cowboy.
Terrible, terrible cowboy. All right. Any parting words for our listeners?
Just thanks for listening. Thanks anybody that listens to Reliving the Extreme. Thanks for keeping that dream going, and eventually we'll get it back going. And here at the beginning of the year, 2026, look forward to the Pot on the Mountain.
Yes. Discussing from beginning to end, because this one probably won't get taken from us in the middle of the night by a major corporation.
Yeah, I don't think TKO is going to buy crispy lettuce.
Yeah, I don't think TKO gives a shit about TKO. The Tiki Torch.
That's the Rock's little group.
I don't think they give a shit about Smoky Mountain or us reviewing it. So, but yes, it's going to be a Smoky Mountain podcast. And let me see here. This will be releasing on Friday. So by the next Friday, if we do get to record an episode next week, it won't be. So I want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And we will see you next time around with Clash of the Champions 30. Like Aaron says, some of the stuff gets better. Some of it's still garbage, but we're going to get there. And then coming up...
It's not going to be any worse than this fucking Clash.
Right, yes. This one was probably the low point.
Yeah. This was the worst Clash we've reviewed.
Hands down. But we'll see you next time around for Clash of the Champions 30. Just a few more in our Clash of the Champions series. We'll be done with that and on to new things. We'll see you next week, everybody. Again, have a Merry Christmas, and that's it.